As all of you know, facing a problem from one end is very painstaking. But consider a situation where you are facing problems at 3 to 4 verticals. What will happen there? That situation is known as simultaneous equations and inequations. So in this part, we'll use all the knowledge that you have and all the knowledge that you don't have, which question set are things that you must have. So this is the place where we'll do all the questions and all the understanding of each and every prospect of inverse trigonometric functions, applied, direct, indirect, anything to everything. So in order to get towards this, let's start understanding this topic and see how far we can go in this chapter. So the next is simultaneous equations and inequations involving ITF. What's this? It's something new and something very big. Let's try and understand. Simultaneous equations, in these kind of questions, what we'll do, we'll have more than one equations which will be giving a value to a common variable. Now if I have that, so that value can be used up very easily in order to find out answers. And inequation deals off with inequalities. So there can be equations which will be an amalgamation and a mixture of inequations, questions and concepts from different chapters. A new concept might be taken up in order to make a question. So all these permutation and combination is totally possible in questions involving ITF. So let's see one type of those questions in which I have an equation involved along with the ITF, and let's see how we can do it. The question says, find the x satisfying the inequality cos inverse of x is greater than cos inverse x square. So for this to do, first of all you need to understand the behavior, how cos inverse x is. From the values and the graphs of cos inverse x, I can know that this is a decreasing function. So what's a decreasing function? A decreasing function is a kind of function. Suppose if I have a value x1 which is greater than x2, and I am talking about f(x) as a function which is decreasing in nature, so f of x1 will be less than f of x2, which means if I am increasing towards the values, I'll have function which will be something like this. The values that it will take will go down as I am increasing the values of x. So if x1 was greater than x2, the value of the function at the smaller value will be the greater in amplitude as compared to the value which is greater in its true sense. So that is how we define decreasing function. So if I have this, I will do x is less than x square, and once I am done with this, I will say that this has become x square minus x greater than 0, x into x minus 1 greater than 0. So there will be two parts which will be used into this. Now let's find out the reason. Using the wavy curve method, I will find out that this is 0, this is 1. We will start off from over here. So my required range is something which will be shown on to the part which is positive always. So this is from less than 0 and this is from greater than 1. Now tell me one thing. If I am talking about cos inverse x and cos inverse x square, don't you think it's my moral duty to find out whether the function is defined there or not? Don't you think? See, all those questions from every chapter will be done at this point of time, because we know that, but not these questions. These questions are kind of hinge and kind of constraint towards the answer what you get. You have to see whether those values are satisfying enough to call the inverse trigonometric function a function itself, right? So I know that if cos inverse x is defined, so x is always between minus 1 to 1. And for x square also between minus 1 to 1. So if x is from between minus 1 to 1, x square will definitely be from minus 1 to 1. So there is one more interval which you need to take care of whenever we are doing such things, and that is the interval from minus 1 to 1. So if the values are lying into the domain of the existing functions, then only I can think of inequality. Let's see to this properly. This thing is only probable when this cos inverse things are defined. And cos inverse things are only defined when we have domain under a certain specific range. So the answer to this question is a bit complex, and I'll take the common region between the two things. See, as equality is not there, so I'll not take the end values. The answer that will pertain to The answer for this question is x belongs to -1 open interval and 0 open interval. 1 will not be included because I don't have equality over here in the question. So this is how we do questions which involve inequations. Look at the question properly, solve it first by the normal method, and once you are done, do always check a feedback mechanism into the answers, that whether the answers that whatever I have found out is satisfying the function itself or not. Is the question valid in those values of x, whatever I have found out? Because in examination you will have the wrong option onto the top, because that will be the option which you will see first, and you will refer out all the possible opportunities to find out the correct answer. So don't do this in examination. Be cool, be calm, be central towards the question, read the question, solve it. Once you have the answer, go and cross it, check it along with the domain of the given function such that it exists. These are the small tips and tricks which you can use in order to find out the answer of the questions. Hope this was clear to you. Stay tuned for more tips and tricks like this on ITR. So I hope and I do believe that problems from all the verticals was not so teasing enough, because you have understood the concepts very clearly. You have firm grasp upon the understanding of ITFs. But if you have, then I think this is the best time to get towards anything. Pick up any book, pick up any question. If you can understand the concept behind the question, then yes, we are on to the right track. And if not, I think there is need to revisit all those concepts that we have read earlier, starting from the general introduction. But this is not the end. In the next part, we have summation of series kind of questions, which we will do in the next video lecture. So stay tuned for more information and more interesting questions on ITF.